Anyone who grew up in a small town is going to remember the weekend teenage ritual of riding around. You gather 2 or 3 kids in a car with a tank full of gas just waiting to be wasted. You make the loop around town to the usual spots. In my neck of the woods, that was Sonic for burgers and cherry limeades, and then we would end up at the edge of a Walmart parking lot under the street lights, kind of parked in a circle, just talking. We would talk mostly about, everyday stuff, whatever was going on in everybody's lives. But eventually that got boring and we would end up talking about local legends. And eventually there would be the dare. Hey, I dare you to go spend 20 minutes in Possum Trot by yourself. Possum Trot, by the way, is a cemetery. It's a homestead cemetery, kind of off in the woods. There's no real ghost story for it, mostly just devil worshippers performing rituals in the dark, because, I was raised in the 90s, so satanic panic. Today I'm going to tell you about 3 of those teenage dares. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery in Midlothian, Illinois, just south of Chicago, the Three-Legged Lady of Nash Road in Columbus, Mississippi, and Gravity Hills. There are a few, and we'll be talking about a few of those. Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is in a small, overgrown acre of woods just off the Midlothian Turnpike. To get there, you drive down 143rd Street. You park in the Rubio Woods Forest Reserve across the street from the entrance, and you walk about half a mile down an unlit, tree-lined, cracked road with grass growing in between the cracks. Before too long, the thrill of the dare started to wear off, and they began vandalizing the graveyard. They would spray paint the gravestones, break them, remove them entirely. Some were found outside of the cemetery. One was held in the local sheriff's department because if they put it back, it would just be stolen again and they may not find it. Upwards of 200 of them were found in the lagoon nearby. Police records of the era even detail finding remnants of charred bonfires with pieces of actual coffin thrown into them. Now, I love a good ghost story just as much as the next person, but the vandalism took it a step too far. It took an innocent teenage pastime and turned it into a sinister, disrespectful act of malice. The vandalism and disrespect changed Bachelor's Grove. It went from a peaceful, secluded resting place to something darker, and before too long, visitors were reporting odd occurrences. The earliest reports were of small blue orbs that seemed to have an intelligence to them. They would follow you down the path into the graveyard and dart around the gravestones. But when you would try to approach them, they would dart away, as if they were aware of your presence. As time passed, the phenomenon escalated, and people began reporting a stark white Victorian-style house that seemed to have an inviting glow. When they would try to approach it to investigate it, it seemed as if they just never got any closer. It would push further and further back into the woods until it disappeared entirely. It was never reported in the same place twice. It was always described the same way, but every person who saw it in a different place. Around the same time, trespassers began reporting seeing a woman wearing a long flowing white gown, carrying an infant in her arms, wandering around the gravestones as if she's looking for a place to rest. There is a grave marker listed as Baby Fulton. Researchers believe that that is the gravestone that she is looking for. You don't just have to rely on rumors and folklore, though. In 1991, Judy A. Huff Fells, a member of the Ghost Research Society, took one of the most famous ghost photographs in history. It's known as the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove, and it put Bachelor's Grove on the map as one of the most haunted cemeteries in the world. It was taken during the bright light of day with an infrared camera. It depicts a woman with long dark hair in what appears to be a nightgown sitting on a gravestone that's about the size of a milk crate. It's square. There were 3 women there that day, the photographer and 2 other women. None of them fit the description of the Madonna. Over the many years of vandalism and desecration, the graveyard was slowly closed off to the public. You can visit it today from sunrise to sunset, but if you're caught there after dark without a permit, you will be given a citation. Volunteers have restored the cemetery, not to its original state, but they have done work on the cemetery, and these days researchers and volunteers say that the cemetery is peaceful, as if the work that was done has soothed the spirits there. I want to give a quick trigger warning for the next story. It does involve some explicit body horror and violence against a minor, so if that's something you're sensitive to, viewer discretion is advised. Some teenage dares require a little bit more work. They're not just a quick little jaunt down a dark lane. They have rules of engagement. Take Nash Road in Columbus, Mississippi, for example. It looks like pretty much every other country lane. It is lined with trees on both sides. It's 2 lanes, but at night it takes on a darker feeling. The rules are simple. You drive down Nash Road, somewhere between the 26 and 4500 block of addresses. You stop and put your car in park. You turn the lights off. And you gather all of your courage and you honk your horn 3 times, and then you wait. The rules don't say how long you have to wait, but eventually you'll hear a loud thud on the roof of your car. And then when you look out, you'll see her, the 3-legged lady of Nash Road. And that is your cue to put it in drive, turn your lights back on, and floor it. You don't stop until you are far from Nash Road, because for the entire way down the road, she will follow you, beating your car with her 3rd leg. Some people have even reported there being dents and scratches in their car the next day. So where did she come from? The stories can't agree. In the first story, she's a Civil War widow who finds her husband dead after a battle, dismembered, and she takes his leg and sews it to her body in a fit of grief. In the other version of this story, she is the mother of a teenage daughter sometime in the 30s or 40s, and her daughter was abducted, murdered, and dismembered, and disposed of out the window of a vehicle along Nash Road. The only part of her daughter she found was her leg. And here the story diverges again, because either she sews it to her body again, or she just carries it with her, and that's what she uses to hit your car with. While the rules of this dare are simple, there is no logic to it. It's as if there's some cosmic edict that says, drive down Nash Road and park your car, honk your horn 3 times and wait. There's no records of a Civil War widow dying there. There's no records of a teenage girl being abducted. Just in the 60s and 70s, the story started spreading around and people started driving down Nash Road and performing the dare. Not all dares require a backstory though. Some just require the rules. In my neck of the woods, that was Gravity Hill. Now, Gravity Hills exist in a lot of places, and some have stories, some don't. But for all of them, they are a place where the rules of physics just seem to kind of take a break. The rules for this one are simple as well. You drive to the bottom of the hill, you put your car in neutral, and you wait. And eventually your car will start rolling uphill. Or kind of. I'll never forget my first trip to Gravity Hill. I was with my brother in his mustard yellow Datsun. I was about 10 or 12 years old. And he took me to Gravity Hill, and we stopped at the bottom of the hill, and he put it in neutral. And the car started rolling up the hill. And I looked down at his feet, and they were firmly planted on the floorboard. And then he tapped me, and he was like, hey, Chris, look out the back window. See if there's something pushing us. I did not look that time. Not all Gravity Hills have a ghost story attached to them. The one in my hometown didn't, but some do. In San Antonio, Texas, there is the San Antonio Ghost Tracks. In 2018, they were altered, so it no longer works. But the story used to be that if you park on the tracks and put baby powder all over the bumper of your car, you will be pushed off of the tracks, and when you get out, you'll find little handprints in the baby powder. And the story goes that sometime in the 30s or 40s, a bus full of kids stalled out on the tracks with a train coming, and they didn't make it. So now the kids are pushing you off of the railroad tracks to safety. In Lake Wales, Florida, there's also the Spook Hill. The story for that one is that during the pioneer days, a Native American chief did battle with a monster of a gator who had been terrorizing his people. The gator and the chief both died in the fight, and the people buried them both on the hill. And now the story is when you are pushed uphill, it's either the chief pushing you to safety or the gator pulling you down into its lair. Now let me demystify this for you. It's not really some phenomenon. It is just an optical illusion caused by an obscured horizon line. In the 90s, my Uncle Don would come to visit, and he found out about the Gravity Hill, and he got very obsessed with it, to the point that he would drive out there with like a basketball and a builder's level. He wanted to see if the ball would roll uphill the same way that the cars do, and it did. And then he put the builder's level down there, something kind of like this. And while he expected it to be going uphill when he put it down, it was actually going downhill. That's how the car rolls. It's not rolling uphill, it's rolling downhill. It's just an optical illusion that makes you think that the car is going uphill. Now that I've explained the science to you, let me be clear, that never ruined the fun for me. I still got that same spooky thrill every time I went, and I went a lot in my teenage years when I was able to drive myself. And I got the same spooky thrill every time. And eventually I did look back, and there was nothing pushing me. There's nothing quite like driving aimlessly down back roads looking for the thrill of the excitement, whether it's the curiosity of debunking an oddity or just a dare to go sit in a cemetery. Next time when you come back, we'll explore 3 more stories, and I'll ask you one question. Do you want to hear something spooky?